used to work as a supervisor at the University of Cambridge, and part of that job involved setting curricula for students on the topic of English literature. Recently on Book Talk, I've come across this idea of the personal curricula, which is where you set yourself this kind of autodidactic program for learning about all of the interesting topics that you didn't get the chance to study in school. Now, the term originated with the TikTok creator Parmesan Princess, but lots of great creators have done their thoughts on this, but I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And this is because I have seen some examples of the reading list that people have set themselves for their personal curricula, and I think that they are not going to be that successful, a lot of them, and I'm going to tell you why. Ultimately, we have to remember that the idea of the personal curriculum is to enrich our lives and not to torture ourselves. If you have a list of 50 to 100 to 200 books of very old, dense, difficult texts, you are not going to get as much out of this as you possibly could. Because in all likelihood, you're not going to complete it. One, you need to pick a topic that actually gets you excited, and it needs to be sufficiently niche that you can cover it in the space of like 2 to 10 books. So rather than saying like, oh, I want to study the whole of English literature, it would be much more productive to say, I want to study the Gothic, or I want to study the pre-Raphaelites, or I want to study the year of modernism, 1922. And you need to curate like 2 to 5 primary sources. And by primary sources, I mean these are the original texts, pictures, movies that are the topic you're thinking about. So like if you're doing Impressionism, the primary sources will be Impressionist paintings. If you're doing Gothic literature, the primary sources will be Gothic fiction novels. Then, in order to understand those primary sources, you're going to need secondary sources, and these are going to take the place of like a teacher or mentor. So again, with Impressionists, that might be a book like Sue Rose, The Private Lives of the Impressionists, A History of Impressionism, or with the Gothic, that might be the Cambridge Companion to the Gothic. So these are texts about the primary sources. Then I think it would be beneficial to add a non-reading component. So that could be anything like podcasts, YouTube videos, art exhibits, movies, video games, even things which like take you outside of the realm of the written word, because actually with a lot of these subjects which might relate to art history or to cinema, you're going to need things to look at, and you're also going to need to like make yourself want to do it, because that's the way to actually enjoy learning. Helpful to study things in groups, so see if you can get a group of friends together to work on your personal curriculum together, and definitely create like a school term structure. So give yourself like a period of time where you're working on that thing and then move on to the next thing. So that might be like 1 week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, and then you move on to the next part of the curriculum. If that was helpful, and follow for more art and culture.